Hi everyone. Today we're going to look more in depth into solving proportions. So we're going to look at an example where we have to solve for a variable and also how to set up a proportion problem. So a proportion we need to remember is when two ratios are equal and it requires us to solve for a missing variable. So this proportion here says it's $6.75 for one shirt. How much is it for five shirts? And we have to figure out the cost, so X. So what we learned is that we can multiply diagonally across using something called cross multiplication. So 5 times 6.75 and 1 times x, and we have a new equation. Now, the nice thing about this equation is x is already isolated, so x equals 33.75 is our answer, and we interpret it as 5 shirts costs $33.75. Now we can look at a more complicated proportion problem where there's x twice in the problem, but we're going to still use the same process where we multiply diagonally across. And we need to remember that if we're multiplying into a binomial, into two terms, we need to distribute. So 30 times x and 30 times negative 10. So we do this and get 20x equals 30x minus 300. And then we do the steps to isolate the variable. We're going to move the x's all to the left side of the equation by subtracting 30x on both sides. And negative 10 multiplied by x, we're going to undo that by dividing by negative 10 on both sides. And we get x equals 30. And this doesn't have a units. Okay, this isn't a real world quantity problem, so this is just 30. X is 30. But let's say we were looking at a situation problem. We need to understand how to set it up. So let's say you're watching two episodes of your TV show while playing games on your phone, because that is the sad reality of life nowadays. You watched two episodes of your show and you were able to complete 5 levels of your video game. How many levels of your video game could you complete during 11 episodes of your show? So we have 2 episodes of the show for 5 levels, and we have 11 episodes for X levels. We don't know how many levels, but we know the denominators are both levels. So we set up the proportion. We're going to use cross product to solve. So we wind up with 2x equals 55. We divide both sides by 2, and you can finish 27.5 levels. So that's how we solve a proportion problem to determine how long would it take me to get 27.5 levels done. It would take me 11 episodes of actually watching the show. So that's how we set up and solve proportions.